All right, so hopefully, because I turned my phone sideways, hopefully the video will go sideways. Let me just try to prop this thing up here. Okay, so maybe I should wait till someone comes on the video so I'm not talking to myself here. White and brown. So right now we are wiring up this Innovate wideband kit or system, whatever you want to call it, on the old EcoDiesel. Now the reason for that is because unlike everyone else who just kind of throws fuel at it, throws a hair of timing at it, and that's it, we're going to do it a little bit different, and that is by putting a wideband in that allows us to actually set the air fuel ratio appropriately for diesel. Yes, rolling coal can be cool and fun, but at the same time, we want to make the most amount of power efficiently. And, you know, we were able to get way better fuel mileage than all the other companies, but by going into this, we're going to actually get even better fuel mileage on our trucks. So that's what the wideband is for. The wideband is also, I got a hold of a guy, and he might watch this video. So if you watch this video, Cody from Amarillo, text me again. I have 1,000 text messages. But we're going to set up a wideband in a completely bone stock truck, and we're going to develop 100% emissions compliant tuning as well. That's just going to blow everyone power-wise out of the water. I'm just dealing with the wiring on this right now. It's kind of a pain in the ass. The instructions aren't very good on it. I don't sell these products. I also don't work for these companies. But what this is an Innovate LC2 digital air fuel monitor. Or gauge. I have that empty pod, so we're going to fill it up. And then that way, when we start going with the bigger turbos and things like that, the tuning's going to be a hell of a lot easier, especially considering the dyno they keep telling me it's going to be done soon, but I guess we'll see. They were supposed to start wiring it this week, so I guess we'll find out. But this is going to make wiring on the dyno way freaking better. So I'm just checking this out here to see what goes where. You know, obviously red goes to power, key on. Black gets grounded. It says yellow analog out 1 and brown analog out 2 can be connected to analog inputs of other devices such as data loggers, aftermarket programmable ECUs, or air fuel ratio display gauges. If either one of those wires are not being used, isolate the tape with wires. So see, I think the gauge actually uses these wires for something else. Let me check over here. I'm pretty positive the gauge actually uses the wires for a dimmer switch on them. Let me check my other stuff. People can comment if they want when they're watching this. I can't promise that I'll see them right away, but I'll try to respond to them if I see them. So according to this, we have red wire for ignition on, black wire for ground, yellow wire needs to be connected to a headlight power wire. The white wire is a signal input from wideband controller. The gauge is set up to work with an analog output configuration. Connect DB gauge's white wire to LC2's yellow wire. Okay, so that's kind of stupid because there's 2 yellow wires here, but we're going to connect this white and yellow wire together apparently. We can connect it together. I got to add more wires here in order to put them on the same connector though. So if anybody else has been watching our other videos about like the Corvette where the kid tried to say that we stole his Corvette, funny thing about that is some of you may have saw posts on Facebook where the kid made a bunch of absolutely awful posts with nothing to back them up, and the police, I mean, it got to the point where like people are like privately messaging me and like threatening to kill me and all kinds of stuff. And so it got to the point where we had to basically, me and an employee that this guy was messaging had to call the police department and say, hey, like, you want to tell this dude to back the hell off? And so they made him. He went through and he deleted everything because basically he was afraid of getting sued. So he basically gave us hundreds and hundreds of pictures and evidence to file a defamation of character lawsuit for, obviously, posting false information all over the internet. But it got removed finally, but not obviously before probably, 300,000-400,000 people saw it. So, it is what it is for that. So, obviously didn't hurt us in any way or shape or form, because the majority of the people could see, how fake or stupid the whole scenario was. I mean, all it really was all that guy had to do was wait to get his car back. He got impatient. The car was taking too long. He called it in stolen. And now the police department is looking at filing charges for filing a false police report, which obviously should happen. I feel like a lot of you can agree that if somebody files a false police report, they should be held accountable for it in one way or another. And it's funny that, like, when I first called about all the harassing text messages that we were getting, the cops like, well, unless you text him and tell him to stop, we can't do anything about it. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you guys filed a police report saying that a car was stolen without even talking to the other person involved, the business involved. I said, how the hell does that make sense? And I can't file a harassment claim without something like that. It is what it is. It's done and over with. I don't have to deal with it anymore. So for anyone who saw the post or the stupidity involved, just figured I'd let you know that has been taken care of. I'm sure there'll be negative side effects here and there from, random people online. But, it goes to show you that, you shouldn't just believe everything people say online. I mean, we got them guys from MR Tuning who continue to post negative stuff about us constantly everywhere, and then stuff lying. Like, oh, yeah, hold on, I got to grab my electrical tape here. Wherever the fuck I put it. Hold on. All right, well, it wasn't over there. Not exactly sure where I left it. I mean, I do remember buying electrical tape. Oh, here it is. So, I forgot what I was saying, but needless to say, it's not something that we really got to deal with anymore. Now, for the wideband, most places would recommend, if you're going to be doing a lot of modifications, to do something like that to your vehicle. So, if anyone is interested in it, for ease, I would highly recommend this one. And maybe I'll put together a short video after this kind of showing what was all done in order to install this on the truck. It's actually fairly easy. Everything, basic tools, everything gets hidden and covered up. And obviously I had a gauge pod already for my banks, so this actually just sits in there. So I'm just excited to get it in and make even more improvements on the tuning that we're releasing to people. So I guess we'll call it a day on this video here for now. But like I said, before I tie everything up, I'll make a short video explaining how how I put the wideband in the truck and what we all needed to do for it. And then I'll probably make a video showing kind of like proper air-fuel ratios and things like that. Most of you who have done with gas engines, the air-fuel ratio, stoic is almost the same, but everything else is the opposite, where a gas engine, the leaner it goes, the hotter it gets, the more dangerous it is. A diesel engine, the leaner it gets, the colder it gets, and the less dangerous it is. And there's a fine line in each direction, but going down the highway, these trucks should be at least at a minimum of 20-to-1 air-fuel ratio. So, we're going to try and aim for 22, and we'll just see how the truck runs. And you know, we'll watch EGTs and things like that on top of this, and we'll come up with a basically a proper air fuel chart for all the tuning. So it'll be for this one, we'll do one for a completely bone stock truck, and we'll do this on every truck we do where we do a major modification, which next is the larger designed factory turbo, which we're shooting for 350 wheel horse. It is the turbo, once it's installed, it's going to be in conjunction with a 4-inch downpipe, and then we're going to probably pick up a 4-inch Cummins exhaust, and we're going to run 4-inch all the way back. You know, yeah, we should probably test it with the factory pipe, just to help people out, but it sucks because, you know, obviously the dyno's ours, so it's not like we got to pay a bunch of money to use it, but it sucks to take parts off, put parts on, take parts off, put parts on. It takes a lot of time, and we'll try to do it if we can. Otherwise, if not, we'll at least have the turbo on a truck like this with that's fully deleted, and then we'll put the turbo on a bone stock truck, and we're going to run that completely bone stock on the dyno and see how much different it reacts, and see if possibly, if, you know, if we make 10, 20 more horse with this turbo with no tuning on a completely emissions compliant truck, but lower the EGTs at the same time, you know, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want that upgrade for even a bone stock truck, and then with an emissions compliant tune on top of that, you know, there's no reason why the turbo plus an emissions compliant tune can't touch 70 to 100 horsepower. So we'll see what we can do. Like I said, we're really trying hard to basically create a performance market for the eco diesel that's going to continue to grow as we hopefully create competition. Unfortunately, so far we haven't really created any competition. All we've had is companies that just bash us for no reason. Now we are doing buy-ins on to try and do the torque converter. We're doing buy-ins on the turbo build. I'm not sure if we're gonna do buy-ins or not on the compound build. If you're interested in any of this stuff, let me know. We definitely want to push forward with an aftermarket crank eventually. I just don't know if we have enough people together to justify the price tag it's going to cost us to have a crank completely designed and made from scratch. But if anyone's interested or anything, looking forward to see how this wideband helps with tuning. Keep up the good work, okay? There's too many Michael M's, so I'll see which Michael M it is when I get off here. But thank you. You know, I'm hoping the wideband, you know, I'm hoping I install the wideband and I look at it and we're driving on the road and the air fuel ratios are dead nuts perfect. You know, the benefit of the diesel is your air fuel ratio could be way off, and it's not a big deal. But so the goal here is that, and even on a compliant truck and even a deleted truck, is you give it enough fuel to light the turbo. As soon as you light the turbo, you immediately start going lean. And the higher up in the RPM range, the leaner you want to be. You know, you use that extra fuel from a dead stop to get that turbo spooling, and then you cut it off. So we'll see how it does. You know, there's a possibility that we could come close to keeping the horsepower that we're at without having to, you know, dump a shitload of fuel in order to make it. But like I said, we're really shooting to bump up the gas mileage a little bit. I think Glenn's test that he did, we're at like 29 or 29 and a half on his truck. So, you know, to repeat the same test and be able to hit 31 to 33 on his specific truck for that specific type of test that he does would be phenomenal. Like I said, we'll see on that one. You know, my main concern is making sure that these trucks are completely reliable and making sure that the cylinder pressure is really well. So by doing this, not only will we have EGTs, which don't tell you the whole story, but we're going to have the air fuel ratio, which will tell us a story as well. If we get the money for it, which I don't know if that'll ever happen, we will install cylinder pressure probes on a set of heads and continue to do testing on a motor that's actually, we're measuring everything, even internal. What the hell else did we need to do recently that I forgot about? The CP3 conversion, I have the adapter plate off at a shop. They're trying to see if they can reproduce it for me, if they can continue to make them. That'll be one of the big things that comes next, is the CP3 conversion, which will also have tuning designed for it as well. We have the downpipe that we're helping with. Oh, another thing that I want to do, I haven't fully decided on it yet, but where the EGR block off is, or you know what, not even. So you have the EGR plate on the back of the motor. So if you skip that plate and you leave that flex tube on, you know, you can put a plate on the front of that. Something else, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, something else is that, so you can leave that pipe on and you can block that pipe off, so that way you don't have to reach behind the motor. Something else that we're considering developing, that other places have done, is using a small wastegate right there to essentially relieve some of the excess exhaust gas temperatures and extra exhaust once the turbo reaches a certain amount of boost. It's something that we're planning on trying to play with, so we'll see. If anyone is a fabricator or wants to invest in some of the fabrication involved, let me know, because it's going to be something where basically we drill a hole. I mean, the proper way to do it was we would drill a hole in the plate that covers on the back of the motor, and then we drill a hole in the downpipe, and we basically connect the two and we dump the exhaust there. But with that being said, we can do another style where it connects to that tube up top, and then it has an open dump towards the ground, or it can tie back into the exhaust as well. And we can use that for like a towing mod for trucks that tow. We can use that to help reduce exhaust gas temperatures. Now, with that being said, one of the big reasons behind us using this this air fuel monitor is that one of these days I'm going to go grab my trailer, which is tips the scale at 10,000 pounds, and it's a 24-foot enclosed, so it's like pulling a brick wall down the freeway. And we're going to go drive around with the trailer on it, highways, hills, things like that, and we're going to log and measure the air fuel ratios, and then we're going to modify a table completely for the towing side of things. And I'm going to keep that table ready to go, so that way when we do have the multi-map completely done, we will use that fuel map as one of the switches, so that way people can switch to that map, and it'll have the perfect air fuel ratio for pulling an absolutely heavy load. I mean, 10,000 pounds in an enclosed trailer. I mean, an enclosed trailer by itself is awful to pull, and then you put all that weight inside it, it definitely makes it a lot harder. So, you know, to be able to set up to safely pull one of the, a 10,000 pound enclosed down the highway would actually be absolutely nice. And you know, I think it would help a lot of people out. There's a lot of guys that I noticed that tow way heavier than they should. And you know, if we can do something to make the engine tow a lot better and be safer, then we definitely want to move forward with that. With that being said, anyone that is towing that kind of weight, I highly recommend getting the thermal bypass for the 8 HP, whatever the hell transmission that they sell. It'll bring your tranny temps down from almost 200 down to about 170. So those of you that pull heavy, I highly recommend that. But I said I was going to go before, so I'm going to take off now so I can finish electrical taping and installing this wideband. I'll try to put out a video later of everything that I did on it for those of you who want to install a wideband on your own vehicle. And then I know I just made a video for the how to use the handheld and the software. Anyone who's not already on our Facebook page, it is the EcoDiesel Performance USA Facebook group and page. It's definitely a good place to join. Nobody's bashing people, nobody's bashing other companies, things like that. So I highly recommend joining it up. Have a good night.